Hi friends, welcome back to my channel for those of you that have been here before, and welcome to those of you that have not. For those of you that have not been here before, my name is Caitlin and we are in the middle of I'm now dubbing it the March Sadness eyeshadow palette tournament. I originally had this plan to do like a Sweet 16 March Madness style face-off with my eyeshadow palettes and have it kind of like go along with the March Madness tournament. But due to this coronavirus, the tournament and all sports have been canceled for the foreseeable future. So instead, I'm going to continue doing this, but I'm calling it March Sadness because I am sad. I miss basketball. So we're just gonna tell a quick story. So basically, Tyler uses the ring light that we have for work. He films videos at our job, and we were going to Vegas, and he had filmed something at work, and then he worked from home on Tuesday and we were leaving Wednesday. And so he had told me that he left part of the cord for the ring light at our office, and so I work at the same office as him, so he had asked me to grab the cord on my way home. So I go to what I thought was his desk, grabbed this cord. Turns out it was not his desk, and it was somebody else's. It was actually no one's desk. It was an empty desk, and it was a random cord that I grabbed. And so we didn't have a ring light. So my last video, that's the one I filmed on my bathroom floor. We didn't have any lighting or anything. I just kind of used the tripod we had and sat on my bathroom floor because I still wanted to film a video before I left. So then when we came back, because we had been to Vegas and there was all this stuff happening in the world, our office had kind of asked us to not come back in and until we'd been, here for 2 weeks without symptoms, just to make sure that we were all clear and good. So we haven't gone back to our office. I ended up just purchasing a new light on Amazon, and that's what I'm filming with now. So anyway, because it's been like over a week since I've had a light, what I've been doing, and I didn't want to have to film all these videos once we got the light. I don't know. Anyway, I was just basically continuing with this March Sadness, sort of face-off games, if you want to call them, and just taking pictures. And so today we're gonna take a look at all those pictures. So first, let's review kind of where we're at as far as the tournament goes. With the videos that I've posted so far. So if we take a look at that bracket, so our first face-off was between the Moonspell palette from Lunar Beauty against the Norvina Volume 3 palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. The Moonspell palette moved along because it won, and then the Desert Dusk palette from Huda Beauty went against the Norvina Volume 1 palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And in that one, Norvina Volume 1 upset Desert Dusk. And then the last video you saw, the one that was on my bathroom floor, I did the Born to Run palette from Urban Decay versus the Muerte palette from Melt Cosmetics, and the Muerte palette won. And then everything else I've done has not been filmed. I'm gonna just kind of go through the pictures I have of them and break down, the actual tools and how I did it. I'm just going to kind of give a brief description. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. And the last challenge is this eye look that I'm wearing right now. That's why I have two different eyes. We got a fire and ice sort of situation happening. That's the one I'm going to get to at the end. So yeah, hope you guys are ready and want to stick around and watch a little bit more. So in our next sort of competition, we had the Mercury Retrograde palette from Huda Beauty against the Vida palette from Melt Cosmetics. So what I'm going to do is insert a picture of the first look. So the way we were kind of doing it was that the lower seeded palette was the look I did first, and then I did the higher seeded palette second. So I'm going to describe them in that order. And I did, when I did the looks on my eyes, I did follow that same kind of pattern. So first up is the Vida look, and I will insert a picture here. So I just did it's an all matte look. I did, the green faded into the yellow, into the orange, and then I deepened up with the darker orange. I'm going to put all of the brushes and colors I used for each palette in the description box down below. I don't want this video to be super long, and I think describing each look in detail is going to take up a lot of time. So if you're curious about how I did it, that's where those things will be. I really like this look. I had never actually done an all matte look with this palette. I was inspired by this look that Raw Beauty Christie did. Gosh, it was like a year or so ago. It was with the Glam Light burger palette, I think. I'm pretty sure it was the burger palette. I've had it screenshot, like the picture she took screenshot on my phone for ever. I really wanted to do something similar with that look. She uses a shimmer. However, in the Vida palette, the shimmers that they have are like either the orange or like this green that's pretty dark. And I just didn't, I felt like if I kept it all matte, it would look closer to Raw Beauty Christie's look. So that's kind of what the inspiration was for that one. And I really liked how that look came out. I hadn't thought to do an all matte look with that palette. And so that was, pushed me out of my that pushed me out of my comfort zone. So next up is the Mercury Retrograde look I did. I was inspired by a Make Me Up Missa look. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Make Me Up Missa, I think, or Make Up Missa. I'm pretty sure it's Make Me Up Missa. Anyways, I'll link her and Raw Beauty Christie in my description box as well, so you can check out their channel. So her look, mine was inspired by that. I just liked kind of she did like this purple shimmer on the lid, and then did like more of like a magenta-y crease. In the pictures I took, it really, the way my lighting is in my bathroom, it completely like washed out all of the colors. They did not look nearly as bright as they were. So it doesn't look anything like her look at all. The Raw Beauty Christie one like kind of does, but not really. But the Make Me Up Missa one looks completely different. So I think it's the look she did when she first got the Mercury Retrograde palette. That's another eye look that I had screenshot and saved on my phone for forever that I wanted to do. So that was kind of the inspiration for that sort of comparison, was to copy, two YouTubers I really like and had, saved pictures of looks they did. So for this one, I truly could not for the life of me decide between these two looks. I loved them both. I thought the bright, colorful, all matte look was like really cool and unique. And then I've said it multiple times now, I am a hoe for purple eyeshadow. So the purple sparkle and shimmery look of the other one, just like, I really loved that. So, and the issue with that one, the issue that ended up happening with that one was my cut crease ended up being a little wonky. And so I feel like the only reason I didn't like that look, like that look, if I had executed it the way that Make Me Up Missa did, would have won by far. But I did not nail the execution of that one. So I couldn't decide. So what I ended up doing was posting a video to my Instagram, and I just polled people. I said, tell me which one you like. And I was like, I'm just going to go off of the results. So technically, the Vida look won. But when I looked at who voted, it was all like these bot, like these fake Instagram accounts that were trying to get me to click on a link that's like some sort of scam or something. So I had 3 people that I know are like real accounts that voted for that look. And then there was 14 real people that voted for the Mercury Retrograde look. So I decided I'm going to have it be that Mercury Retrograde wins that comparison, just because that's what like the real people I know that are potentially watching this voted for. Some people did, like I said, vote for the orange, green, and yellow, the Vida look. But yeah, so anyway, Mercury Retrograde won and is moving along. Next up in our bracket, comparison, whatever, March Sadness, is the Greek Goddess palette from Lunar Beauty against the Gemini palette from Melt Cosmetics. We've got a lot of Melt Cosmetics palettes in here. They're obviously one of my favorite brands, if not my favorite brand. So the Greek Goddess palette, so in this instance, the Greek Goddess palette, I actually did second. I knew exactly which look I was going to do for the Gemini palette, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the Greek Goddess palette. So this one was flipped. So I did the Gemini palette first. It was this, you know, I'll put the picture in here. It's this grungy green, you know, halo eye. And really, I love this look. I'm so upset because the pictures and the video I took, like none of it could do it justice. It's so pretty in person. I've worn that exact look before. I've done different eye shapes with that exact same color scheme. Like I love those greens in that palette. So I knew exactly what I was going to do with that one. And then the Greek Goddess palette, I feel like I always do. That's my go-to palette for just kind of like a easy, not easy, I should say, like more of like a natural like look. I don't even want to say natural either because it's not like it looks natural, but it's my go-to for when I don't really know what I want to do and it's just kind of like a brown like smoky eye with glitter like that, like just a very normal look for me, like my go-to kind of look. That's the palette I typically use, and I knew that if I did that going up against like that Gemini, I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna like that look better. So I wanted to do the Gemini first and then see if that sparked some creativity. So I decided there's this blue sparkly shade in the Greek Goddess palette that I almost never use. So that's what I decided to do, and I wanted it to be this like red blue, and honestly I really liked the look. It made me think for a second that the Gemini palette wasn't gonna win, but I still decided it did because I am obsessed with those greens. It's probably one of my favorite looks that I can do with any of my eyeshadow palettes. So I was like, there's no, yeah. So Greek Goddess really didn't have much of a chance because I love that Gemini palette. So moving along, we have next the Berries and Cream palette from Dominique Cosmetics going up against the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now, this one did not, this is one I filmed, I think late at night and kind of wasn't maybe in my creative flow because I'm going to put a picture that has both looks at the same time so you guys can see. They're essentially the exact same, like the exact same color scheme, and I did not plan that. And if you look at the palettes, you wouldn't think that you could create a look that's like basically the same, but that's what happened. So the Dominique Cosmetics look, my plan for both of these, for the Soft Glam palette, it's kind of similar to the Greek Goddess palette. Like I don't want to say they all look the exact same, but for the most part, they're like more of like a brownish, warm, that's probably the best way to describe them. They're like warm, glam looks. Like that's what I create with the palette, like warm toned eyeshadow looks. And they don't look the same, but they're my go-to. So for me, it kind of feels the same. Like they don't really force a lot of creativity on my end, just like in an artistic sort of sense. Whereas the Berries and Cream palette, I love the purples in there. Shocking, I know. But I knew that if Berries and Cream was to move on, I would need to pull those purples out. So I was like, I'm not gonna use the purples up against the Soft Glam palette because, you know, there's no way that's not really, like that has to be a nude palette. This one has to be, like that's an all, not nude. That's an all warm tone palette. That I should try and do something that's like more of a neutral kind of look, neutral toned look, and to have an actual comparison. And that's how I ended up with them looking almost the exact same. Now, Berries and Cream does win this one for me. I ended up using the black in that palette where I didn't in the Soft Glam look that I did. And so the Berries and Cream look got deeper, and I just felt like overall, like that look came together more for me, but they were almost identical. So next up, we had our number one seed, the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina collab palette versus my Millennial Pinks palette from Melt Cosmetics. And I really like the Millennial Pinks palette, and it's new, and so I was really like concerned about how my girl Jackie was gonna do, because I love that palette. Like I wanted both of them to move on. Like going into it, I was like, I want to do multiple looks with both of these. So so I was stressed. But what I decided, so for the Jackie Aina palette, there is one look that is my go-to, and there's another look I've done that I think is really cool and different. And then for the Millennial Pinks palette, I had actually only used it once, but I've seen so many pictures with like such beautiful colors, and I just like really like the color story of it, and so that's why it was included in this, because I wanted an excuse to use it more. So what I decided, so I used the Millennial Pinks palette first. We returned to, you know, doing, and this is the same, I didn't mention this with the berries and cream. I used the lower seeded palette first for both. So the so for the Millennial Pinks, I did more of like a, I don't even know how to describe it, but I tried to create more of like a structured, like kind of smoky, like wing that came up into the crease, and then just like wanted the like really light pink to kind of contrast that. Again, the pictures with my bathroom lighting just don't do these looks justice, and so I'm really sorry, but this is what we have to work with. But I really liked how this look came out. I really did. It was really pretty, and that shade, I think it's called, it's not Modern Love. Which one is it? Ew. Oh, Mixed Emotions. That shade is such a pretty shimmer. Like, I love that shadow out of that whole palette. Like, that's one of my favorites. So then for the Jackie Aina ones, I decided I'm going to do some like a similar eye shape, but just different colors. So what I ended up doing was more of like a pinky purple with the, with kind of the gold like shimmer. And so it's very similar. It's more smoked out. So the purple isn't quite as like structured, I guess is probably the best word, as I did that black shade in the Millennial Pinks look. But honestly, I really liked it. It was tough to pick between the two. I thought both were really pretty. But for me, I actually went and asked Tyler which one he liked better, and he liked the Jackie Aina one better. So I went ahead and went off of his recommendation. So what I did today is the Natasha Denona Safari palette, which is an all matte palette, versus the ColourPop and Kathleen Light's So Jaded palette. And so I started with the Safari palette because that's the lower seeded of the two, and I can't bend this back, so hopefully you guys can see it and not flash the whole reflection of the light in. So I used the shades Tamarind, Savannah, Rhino, Fata Morgana, Stone, and then a kind of a combo of Aya and Malia on like the brow bone. And I am obsessed with this look. I really like how this looks. Like, really, really like it. The Natasha Denona palette is another palette I've only used once. It's one of my recent purchases that violated my no-buy. Violated's probably not a great word to use. It's one of my purchases that broke my no-buy, and so that's again same to Millennial Pinks. I wanted to include it because I hadn't used it much, and I wanted to, you know, have reasons to play with it more. And man, like, I really like this. So for the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop So Jaded palette, this one I can show you because there's no mirror. So this one, what we used was You're a Gem in the crease, Carnelian to deepen up the crease, and then I actually used Stoned to deepen up the crease further, and then I went back over it with Carnelian, so it didn't look like just gray. It just basically I used it to deepen the Carnelian shade. And then we put Sunstone on like my lid, and then Sunstone and Pearl mixed on the inner corner. And I like this look, and so I'm having a really hard time deciding because I like both looks, but I think for me, I have to go with the Natasha Denona one in the upset because I just think this is so cool. Like, this is just fun and different and unique, and I don't know, the So Jaded one, it's a really pretty look. I just feel like between the comparison of the two, I gotta go with this one. Even if it's all matte, I just feel like it looks super cool, and like I said, it's different and fun to do. So now I'm inserting the updated bracket. So our first round is entirely complete. We're totally done here. And these are who's moving on. I'm gonna try and actually like film myself doing the looks now that I have a light. So what we'll have is Moonspell versus Muerte, Norvina Volume 1 versus Mercury Retrograde, Gemini versus the Jackie Aina palette, the Berries and Cream palette versus the Safari palette. And then so I'm going to try and film a video probably for each like matchup. So that's 4 videos. I might film 2 and then just do like kind of a similar video with the other 2 as an update, or I'm not sure. We'll kind of see what we decide. For sure, when we get to the point where there's only like 2 videos to do and then the one final one, I'll do one at the end. And what I'm thinking is for the last, like the championship round, I'll pull like the pictures from the looks we've done the whole time and just kind of do like every look that I've done versus every look that I've done for the other one, and like which one we like all of the collective looks better. But yeah, anyway, that's where we're at so far. So I hope you guys like this idea, this series. I mean, we're all stuck at home, so I would imagine that you're all bored enough that maybe this was fun to watch. I don't know. But if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment. Let's, have a good time. Do you guys have a favorite palette that's still left? Did you have a palette you liked that you wanted to stay in, or any of the looks that I said I didn't like as much as the other one that you're mad that I picked differently than you? Let me know. I love, arguing with people. It's good. Just kidding. No, but let me know what you guys think. So I hope you guys have a great day. You stay safe, stay healthy. I hope everybody that you know and your families stay healthy. Do your best to stay inside. Let's all try and just ride this out till it's over. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.